Brian Sobel. So let's begin with this revote. First,
Yes.
it's going to go to the Senate.
Right.
That could come tonight.
Tonight, right.
And then it goes back to the House
Right.
for a revote. Explain that.
Well, they have to reconcile the two bills. There were some parliamentary issues with the Senate version. The House has to revote on it, and then it'll go to the desk of the president. And that's going to happen over the next day and a half.
So, Brian, the latest polls have 55% of Americans against this bill, 33% in favor. Today, House Speaker Paul Ryan said the results are going to make this bill popular. Do you think that will be the case?
Well, everybody's going to tell their story, Frank. You know, the Republicans are going to say, here are all the reasons why this is a really good bill. The Democrats are block voting against the bill entirely, so they're going to really want to use this bill to propel their message that the president and the Congress don't have their act together for the 2018 election. So everybody, in an odd sort of way, gets something out of this.
There was some resistance in high-tax states like New Jersey, New York, and here in California. 2 Republicans voted against the bill, and there were a dozen that voted for it, voted no overall. Explain why.
Well, just for that reason, I think that a number of their constituents will be impacted and have to pay more taxes. In a lot of parts of the country, the projection is that people will actually get something back out of this. But bear in mind, the bigger and overarching issue here is the idea that if you can create this new tax structure, more jobs will be created because, in theory, the trickle down, which we saw under Ronald Reagan.
House Speaker Paul Ryan also said today, today we are giving the people of this country their money back. Mm-hmm. What does it mean for the average American family? We
don't know yet, but you know, you're hearing. Well, it depends on your income bracket, but you know, you're hearing percentages being tossed around 2–5%, whatever it is, and as early as February, some people might see in their paychecks a small increase.
Now, just the opposite of what House Majority Leader Paul Ryan was saying, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi said today, "This is the worst bill in history. This is the worst bill ever to come to the floor of the House."
Yeah,
a little bit of hyperbole.
I think so. But you know, Democrats are setting the scene for where we're going, which is just in a month, to 2018, when everything starts for the midterm elections. And if you were to praise this reform package, that wouldn't be very good for your candidates out there. So she has to really start setting the scene in a different way.
If it does pass the Senate and goes back to the House and passes and gets to President Trump's office and he signs the bill into law, this would be the first big legislative victory for the president. Yes. What would it mean for him overall? Well,
it's another we'll see. It's one of the 3 or 4 things that he promised he would do when he came into office. I think you hear the discussion coming out of the White House. Hey, I've dealt with taxes. I'm dealing with immigration, national security. So he's starting to set up what he believes is a good list of his accomplishments. Now, Democrats rightly can argue points against all of those things.
Do you think, though, that President Trump is not getting credit? The stock market is hitting record highs almost every day. Yeah. It's up in anticipation of this tax bill. Unemployment is down. By all accounts, the economy is doing well. Is the president not getting his due, do you think?
Probably. It's a very tough environment these days. You know, you have a split electorate, a split Congress, and you know, if you're going to praise the other side, you in a sense give them a little bit of a message point, and nobody's willing to do that right now. And we'll see over time, you know, and pretty soon, within a year and a half or 2 years, we're going to be looking at a presidential election as well.
All right. Well, Brian, as always, we appreciate your thoughts tonight.
My pleasure.
Thank you.